Hello, good evening, and welcome. I'm John Lazarus with Stories Matter and D&E Publishing. They say we are our own greatest enemy. And while I've never found that to be especially true, I'd have to give that title either to my second wife's new husband or my former agent, who once called and said I won $1 million sweepstakes so he could break into my house while I went to the gas station to sign the check. It's undeniable our internal struggles make for excellent fiction. Today will be the first installment of a 6-part series. Each part will focus on one of fiction's categorical conflicts. Perhaps because it's February, or perhaps because I just discovered this weird lump that I should get checked out but probably won't, I've decided to start with man versus self. I think this is the most relatable type of conflict. Everyone has fears and self-doubt. When I first started D&E Publishing, for example, many friends and neighbors didn't invest in my company because of a lack of confidence in their business skills. And I've gotten emails from so many viewers who are terrified they'll never make it as a writer due to personal flaws. Which is crazy because I've only told a few of my viewers that. In your fiction, this conflict can be small and muted, like a character deciding to reconnect with a friend they've lost touch with. Or it can be large, like the protagonist realizing that his split personality is the one that's been drowning all of those nuns. Readers like these types of conflicts because they're relatable, but they also like these stories because they feel better about themselves in comparison. I know when I read Catcher in the Rye, for example, I felt glad that even though I was also expelled from school like Holden Caulfield, at least when I got with a prostitute as a young man, I took her straight to Pound Town. Just a quick trigger warning, we're going to explore some uneasy truths and deal with some heavy topics in this video. If you're not in the right state of mind to listen to frank discussions about mental health, well, like and subscribe and let the video play to the end so it doesn't hurt our viewing numbers, but feel free to turn the sound off. We'll try to figure out which hole we're filling with all that chocolate and booze on this edition of Stories Matter. I'm never going to amount to anything. It's my fault he cheats on me. Everyone's going to realize I'm a fraud. I'm not special. Why can't I stop jacking off in department store dressing rooms? Why did I buy 3 birthday cakes for myself? Fucking bitch. Fuck you, you stupid cow. Spread Eagle was awesome and he's still not calling me. Feel like you can't turn off the noise? Help has never been closer. Hubbard Telehealth offers online therapy with a group of specialists who provide auditing sessions 24/7. One 30-minute chat with our experts will have you feeling refreshed and unburdened, almost as if you were boofing good vibes directly inside you. Call Hubbard Telehealth today to see which income bracket you fall in and therefore which services you qualify for. Tip 1. Root the conflict in the character's backstory. If you think about it for a second, why do we have self-doubt in the first place? It seems like in caveman times, those with self-doubt would be too distracted by guilt from murdering a rival tribe that they fail to realize they're being stalked by a leopard while gathering berries. Yet, it persists in our bloodline. That's most likely because as human societies grew in complexity, even the most neurotic of us managed to get access to food and shelter from beasts long enough to swap DNA with each other. And then, either through nature or nurture, we passed along our neuroses to our children. And life always throws us curveballs. For example, I remember one time my father barged into my room late at night. He hid under my bed, claiming that loan sharks were after him. But when I asked if I could hide with him, he said that the loan sharks would get suspicious if nobody was on the bed, and that the loan sharks would, at worst, kidnap me for a ransom, but that they were unlikely to physically harm me. Luckily, it was a false alarm, but it did lead to some trust issues, both with my father and with the loan sharks I would later work with when I became an adult. Anyway, in your fiction, you can try using flashbacks. Tease them out slowly so the reader can understand why your character has the conflicts that they do. In my novel, Chair, we don't learn until halfway through the novel that the protagonist's binge eating was inspired by his family underfeeding and subsequently killing his childhood pet iguana. Tip 2. Connect the internal conflict to an external conflict. Our internal conflicts don't stay in our head forever, unfortunately. They manifest in our actions, often in bizarre, unpredictable ways. Take my first wife, for example. An unstable childhood where she was passed between many family members meant that she never developed a stable identity. Due to this, she was married to at least 6 men at the same time under different pseudonyms and personalities. In some relationships, she was the loving mother, others the career woman. I would have been more upset about the betrayal had it not been for the fact that I lucked out and got the sex-addicted slut. In your fiction, you need to come up with external conflicts that will also bring out the internal ones you've established. If your character has a fear of drowning, throw their puppy into the ocean. Test a character's religious faith by introducing them to a really hot atheist. And test a character's acceptance of aging by introducing them to a really hot, really young atheist. Tip 3. Use symbolism. Here's an exercise. Look around your room and see what objects could symbolize your identity, or at least your state of mind at the moment. I think you'd be surprised at how easy this is to do. A quick scan of my room reveals the following. The pile of clothes symbolizes a busy mind, maybe one that's too easily distracted. The loaded pistol atop my desk symbolizes my need to feel secure and the fact that I grew up and still live in a rough neighborhood. The lipstick-stained handkerchief from my second wife I keep in my dresser drawer symbolizes my tendency to live in the past, and my hope that someday I could possibly use the traces of DNA on it to clone her. And don't be afraid of cliches. This stuff resonates for a reason. A storm is a classic example of a way to symbolize anger and inner turmoil. The skull in Hamlet is a great example of a symbol for the fear of death. The sunglasses on the corpse in Weekend at Bernie's, on the other hand, represent an unwillingness of the main characters to accept the finality of death. That's all for today. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll leave you with this week's This Day in Literary History. See you on the next one.